All right, so let's look at another rule for differentiation, and that is when we have a constant multiple of a function. All right, so we have some g of x defined as a constant multiple of f of x. Now, we don't know what f of x is. Could be a power function, or it could be some other function like sine of x or natural log or whatever. You know, we have some function. It could be a polynomial. We don't know. It's just some function f of x, right? And we're going to find a general rule for what happens when we take the derivative of a constant multiple of a function. So even though we do not know what that function is, we can still use the limit definition of a derivative and find a general rule for the constant multiple of a function. So we know we just need to do um, this g of x plus h, which is just going to be the constant times, and we're replacing x with x plus h, and then we're going to subtract c times f of x, right? And divide all of that by h. All right. So now, again, we don't know what f of x plus h is, but you see that both terms in the numerator have a constant, right? They have a constant that we can factor out, right? So oops, this is supposed to be 0. With the limit as h goes to 0, and we can factor that constant out. So we can write this as c times f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. Okay. So let's make that look like a little more like an h. Okay. Now, now this is the same thing. You know, I could have written this as c times all of this, right? Notice we have the constant multiple of all of this thing in the square brackets. So if you remember your limit laws, we can bring that constant out front. And we can then just write this as the limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. Okay? But look at that. Look at that. Look at that. This limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x over h, that whole thing is just f prime of x, right? So this is c times f prime of x. Okay? And so if we take the derivative of a constant multiple, I'll write g prime of x, or let's actually write out the rule, right? We're finding the derivative d dx of c times f of x, right? Just the constant multiple of a function. What we end up with is c times f prime of x. We can just basically pull the constant out, hang on to it, take the derivative of the function, and then just multiply, right? The constant times the derivative of the function. All right, cool. All right, so now we can just use that. We can use that on any function. All right, I'll meet you in the next video for the next rule.